G'day guys and welcome to this very special episode of Through the Breach with the Dead Aussie Gamer. My name is Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and with me is an array of amazing guys from all around the interwebs here to play Through the Breach, a role-playing game set in the world of Malifaux created by Weird Studios. It is a game fraught with perils and dangers, a Wild West adventure sort of meeting this kind of Cthulhian, Lovecrafty, horrifying setting. We have a very large group of very awesome characters that I'm sure these players can't wait to tell you about. Without any further ado, let's meet the cast, let's meet the people, starting of course with none other than the man himself, Guy, playing Dr. Cletus McFly. G'day, Guy!
How you doing there, Lord of Fate?
I'm doing well, I'm doing well. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Cletus McFly.
Well, the name's Dr. McFly. Cletus is for personal folk to use. Know what I'm saying? I've done my duty. I have served my country. I have made sure that the sick are no longer sick and that the dead stay that way. I have decided, however, that I need to travel into this strange land and find out what we can find in terms of medical knowledge, such like. It's important we advance. I feel science is stagnated.
Of course, and we're better than in the realm of Malifaux, where there are many mysteries to be unlocked for such an academic person to find his way. And of course, speaking of finding their way, heading downwards, we see Phil playing McMarin Ortega of the prestigious Ortega family.
Well, really, I'm just a second cousin of sorts. I don't like to, share the spotlight with my esteemed cousins. But I'm an intimidator of sorts. Just got promoted to investigator. Don't know exactly what that word means, but I recently was on a case in where I discovered a steam fitter union office was a hideaway for a couple of arcanists that were hiding out there. So that's how I got my promotion, and now I'm on the hunt for some Ten Thunders folk. Don't like anything that they have to offer.
All right. Definitely plenty of ne'er-do-wells, arcanists, Ten Thunders, and other dangerous folk waiting in Malifaux. And while we're on the topic of the Ortegas, another member of the Ortega family, Mr. Quentin Ortega, played by Steve. Tell us a little bit about Quentin.
Okay, well, hey, so named Quentin. I've been away from this world for a while, actually. Kinda, something came up, and I need to come back. I got a letter from my family. But hey, if I get distracted on the way, any excuse not to go back to them is fine with me, but their family. Kind of just pioneering my way through, doing my best to survive.
All right, and survive. Hopefully you will. And now the journey to Malifaux is fraught with perils of all shapes and sizes, some paying life and indeed limb in order to get there. And one such man who finds himself in such a situation, having paid a limb through his adventures and exploits, is none other than Mr. Heinrich Schmidt.
That's true. My name is Heinrich, and my business is my own, and that is all I have to say about that.
Indeed, and hopefully we will find out more about Heinrich as the game progresses. Now, without any further ado, all aboard. Now, built upon the ruins of Santa Fe, Breachtown is the picture of a fortified rail station. The Guild's rail station, in fact, is one of the largest buildings in town. And after hours of standing outside in the arid heat of the scorching summer sun, you finally find it cleared by security. People have been allowed to board a massive iron train that will take you from this world into the world of Malifaux. Despite the almost suffocating heat of the day, the interior of the train is surprisingly cool. Having waited here all day for your passage onto the train, you are now the first to step onto the iron coach. As you walk down the aisles in search of your seat, you almost imagine that you can see your breath clouding up in front of you. Finally finding yourself a bench-like seat at the front of the third carriage, you see that the seats have been turned to face inwards on each other to make a small little sitting area, a booth in fact. The seats are cold as well as you lay your luggage down and begin to get comfortable. You see several people around you, those whom you have had contact with during the morning while you were waiting for security to pass you, while other people slowly begin to make their way throughout the dining cart, which is obviously behind you into the lower quarters of the rail. As you settle into your place, you can't help but notice a set of deep scratch marks on the wall above the booth you're sitting in. They don't seem to have been cut by any kind of man-made tool. It's almost impossible to imagine what kind of thing may have made scratches in the steel of this carriage. Okay. This scene sees the four of you seated in this booth. As you ponder your various reasons of why you have come to head into Malifaux, you decide to address each other in order to get to know a little bit about the people you will be sharing your space with on this journey.
Have any of you, y'all have done this before, right?
Once or twice.
It's been a long time since I've been on this kind of a train.
Usually I stay for the long haul, so I don't have too many train rides.
This is not my first trip.
Those scratches, they're made by what? A crate or
Oh, it could be a lot of things. Neverborn, bigger Neverborn.
Interesting. I'm gonna like slightly, stand up and try to touch the scratches, see what they feel like.
As Quentin rises to his feet, he runs his hands across the three scratch marks that seem to line the side of the ceiling. The spacing and the method apart definitely seems like it is some sort of animal. If you want to, you may make a history. I mean, if anyone has it, they can flip for history in order to determine what possibly could have done this. So, for this, I have my deck of cards. Who wishes to flip?
I've got does literacy count?
Well, it depends. Does McMarron have any books of literacy on things such as the Neverborn and the other denizens of Malifaux?
Well, he's run into one or two of them, but not in a while. And yes, he has read a book on the subject.
Very well. We'll go with a literacy flip for this one. As we flip this card, you have drawn a 9 of tomes, which I will... There we go. Boom. 9 of tomes. With the 9 of tomes, what is your total for your literacy check?
With that is a 10.
A 10. Well, a 10 is enough to get you through the first margin of success. So what you would know is that there are creatures called the Nephilim, demonic-like beasts that can range from tiny tots that are about knee-high to full-grown monstrosities the size of the locomotive you ride in. They tend to be able to have the strength and the tenacity to tear apart metal in such a manner. Chances are this iron rail itself was probably repurposed at some point, and those scratches may not have happened while in its train state, but may perhaps have come from a scrapyard or a smelting factory as added reinforcement for the train itself.
Can I tell what like, can I estimate an age of what creature made the scratches, or do I
Mm,
just know that they're Nephilim?
just a Nephilim. You wouldn't be able to know anything more specific than that.
All right. Well, I would say this one was probably about to hit its whatever puberty those Nephilim go through. At least I reckon.
Uh, well, it's. I won't be. I won't be the first man to raise my hand and say that it is my unsettling to kind of reckon that there are beasts out there that can do that kind of thing to metal. But on the other hand, if it can do that to metal and we can harness the power of what created such a demonic kind of creature, if we could maybe inject steers with it that given that strength to pull wagons or maybe grow a heifer twice the size, benefit mankind, I suppose.
Doctor, you seem to have big dreams.
I believe if you don't have big dreams, you basically got nothing. If you don't have a dream, what have you got?
Socks.
In my experiences,
I don't have that big of a
sometimes
dream.
we'll have family.
Family's important too. What
When he
about
said,
you, Schmitty? You got family?
No.
As you look
Wait.
over to Heinrich, he definitely does give off the air of a very private person. Unlike the rest of you, who all carry not only your luggage but a small kind of carry-on as well, Heinrich appears to have a rather large black and gold case that seems to. I mean, it's substantially large, so much so that it actually has wheels on the bottom of it. Not very common, and definitely a very pricey sort of bit of luggage carrier, but yes, and he seems to not want to stow it. It sort of seems to be just sort of by his side, as opposed to like up in the overhead compartments or anywhere else.
He's also a measure of a man. He's probably 6 feet tall, 350 pounds, and he is the definition of barrel chested. He has a large, like, duster, and the sleeves have been torn or, singed off. You're not sure. The left arm is definitely torn off because, as you can see, up against the wall of the train is a massive metal arm. And he is wearing what you're pretty sure might be a blacksmith's apron or a butcher's apron. You're not sure what those rusty red splotches are, but you're hoping they're rust.
As one to not be too intimidated by new people, at least, just because of the family that I grew up in, I'll just look at the case and be like, huh, got an interesting case there. Seems that you splurged on your trip here, I see.
That I did, yes.
Well,
Thank you for asking.
here's to whatever you have succeeding in the future.
It is my friend.
As Quentin starts talking again, I'm gonna recognize that he might be from my family. And now wait a second. Quentin Ortega.
Where did you hear that name?
Oh, I know you. We're family, you and I.
You're an Ortega?
Yeah, not like one of the main Ortegas, but I'm definitely one. Second cousin to I forget his name, but it's there in writing. I got the family tree framed above my bed.
Well, nice to know some Ortegas still believe in blood.
Yeah, feels like we've been kind of scattered to the winds. I don't get any
They're better
letters
for
anymore.
it.
That's true. Well, here and there.
Hey, if you could do me a favor, I know
Yeah.
Ortegas aren't normally one for favors. but could you maybe not mention to too many people that I'm on Ortega? I mean, it's fine if you do. Just trying to keep a low profile at the moment.
Oh, just kill a guy, 2 guys.
No,
Give
nothing
the
like that.
Ortega name, probably a whole village.
Nothing like that. Something different.
Something
Is he
worse.
going to persist the entire time? Are you just going to talk the whole train ride?
Well, I enjoy my silence from time to time.
Good,
Perhaps
thank you.
later I'll grow tired of it.
Same. I mean, if we're gonna be on this train for a while, I mean, might as well do something.
But maybe not necessarily talk about who or whom you may or may not have killed recently. I am a law-abiding citizen. I do not need to hear any of this talk of murder and death. I'm a doctor, not a butcher. I say, looking at the German fellow in with the apron.
There is definitely an air of discomfort that lingers like a small fog in this booth between the 2 family members that may possibly have killed people, the questionable stains upon the German man's attire, and of course the brow filled with slowly accumulating perspirations as Dr. Cletus attempts to sort of go, is there any other seats on this train?
Yeah, I'm suffering mighty under this heat. Is
As you do so, more passengers, however, filter onto the train, and
thank God.
as they do so, the temperature of the train begins to start rising higher and higher as it begins to start matching the temperature of the outside. It almost becomes uncomfortable, but before it does, you hear the sound of the conductor shutting the big steel doors and begin to walk up and down the aisles. As he does, oh sorry.
That means we're going to be moving soon.
No.
As he
So
as he walks through the aisles nearby, next to the booth, on the booth adjacent to where you currently are, there appears to be a rather gaunt individual. He seems to be dressed in the manner of a well-to-do gentleman. He's thin and very hunchback, and probably in his late 60s. He seems to be having trouble getting his suitcase up and into the overhead compartment. He's sort of like trying to lift it onto his shoulder, but it almost looks like he can't raise his elbow up above a certain point. And the suitcase itself is more than twice as large as he is. You can see that there's kind of an embarrassed look on his face as the conductor seems to just sort of be tapping his feet, waiting for him to sort his stuff out.
how far away is he from us?
Oops, sorry.
I asked, how far away is he from us?
He's about maybe 2-3 yards away, literally adjacent to where you're currently sitting.
Okay, once I see that he's starting to have a lot of trouble, trying to get his bag moved, I stand up and walk over to him politely, and just like here, and just like kind of help him get the bag up over into the overhead compartment.
All right. As Quentin stands up to go and assist, what are the rest of you doing as you see this scene unfold? Cletus? Oh, sorry, Dr. McFly.
I'm digging in my doctor's bag. I'm looking for probably a powder, definitely a powder, probably an alkaline powder to help with rheumatoid arthritis. It's probably ground willow bark or something along those lines.
Very well. In which case, you may choose to either do an alchemistry or a doctor flip in order to try and find and produce the right kind of curative from
I'll
your
go
tools.
with doctor. I'm a trained medical person. My parents were doctors too. It runs in the blood.
Oof. Well, yeah, clearly it indeed does, as the score that you get is a 12 of masks.
That's 17 for doctor.
All right. Well, Well, with the 17, you actually succeed by 2 margins, which actually means that what happens here is you find one of your finest curatives. You remember a while ago you spent a very late night with rather a stiff neck while you were poring through some of the medical journals in your inventory and developed a very interesting mix, a concoction of oils and herbs that seem to do absolute wonders for your sore and aching joints.
It was found in a little place down south of Mexico. I'm saying this as I approach the old man. I'm a doctor. This will help your arthritic problems. You should take a little bit of powder in the morning, and if it flares up at night, take a little bit of powder after that. It's a new substance. We've only just started to unpack the scientific properties of it. They call it cocaine down there, but we're probably going to call it something else. You'll be absolutely fine. Take some of this. You can mix it in as a tonic or just drink it with water straight up.
Just put it on the teeth.
I have not heard of that one, but yes, you can apply it directly to the tongue as well if you so choose.
Interesting, Doctor. I bet you can make a fortune selling this kind of thing.
I am here to relieve pain from my patients. If this fine gentleman with an extremely heavy suitcase, which undoubtedly contains fairly expensive items, wishes to in any way pay towards me replenishing my stock and helping more people, sure, I'll accept payment for it. But otherwise, I would not accept payment for this, which will definitely get rid of your aches and pains.
Oh, he's beside himself. He says, "Oh, thank you, Senor. It's very very thoughtful of you. I only have but a small amount that I can offer as a token." He reaches into his coin purse. You can see that there's a fair amount of coin there. He pulls and retrieves 3 scrip and hands it to you, saying, "This is all I can afford before we reach Malifaux. But I'm sure that once I get there, I'll be able to compensate you far better."
The powder's only going to last for about 3 days, and you're going to run out of it. When you do come and find me, we can set you up with a constant supply of the stuff. It's really not going to help you in the long term if you only take a small dose now. We can talk price when we get you settled into wherever it is you're headed.
Gracias. Yes, no, thank you. And as Quentin sort of steps up, he places his hands on the briefcase and attempts to pull it and heave it upwards. We are going to do an athletics flip for you in order to see whether or not you possess the physical prowess. Oh dear. That is a 2 of spades that we have flipped.
Yes, of course it is. Because that's all I ever get in any role-playing game ever.
So what is your athletics? What is your athletics plus the flip?
Would that be in AV or in rating?
That'll be your AV plus the flip.
Okay, so it's another 2.
Okay, so a 4. With a 4, that is a substantial failure. As you as you sort of try to lift it, it sort of falls back onto you and lands on your shoulder. You feel the large, heavy thud. It literally feels like this dude is carrying like a dead body in here, and the weight and the heft of it just sort of hit you as you try to push it upwards. The rest of you can see him. The rest of you see him greatly struggling with this case as well. Probably more than the old man was.
Doctor, I think I'm going to need some of that cocaine later.
It does not augment strength. I have a different one for that.
Mr. McMaron? Heinrich? Anything?
I was reading a book out from underneath my leather waistcoat. I have a leather satchel with like 2 or 3 books in it. I was reading. You can see in big print on the cover, Wally Gogg's picture book of lethal judo moves, and as soon as I hear the clatter, I look up and realize that my family member, and I can't say no to family, so I put the book down and I stand up and like, son, do you need some help?
All right, you may approach and make an athletics check as well. Let's flip and see what happens. Well, you definitely come from the same family because we have now pulled. Oops. Sorry. That shouldn't go there. That should go here. Boom. 3 of ravens, which as you pick it up, the both of you then start struggling with it.
Would this be a time that I could do the cheat fate thing?
Absolutely. If you wish to cheat fate, which of your cards would you like to cheat fate with?
I will do it with my Queen of Rams.
Your Queen of Rams.
I guess it's 12 of Rams.
12 of Rams. Yep. Okay. Your 12 of Rams have been consumed, and the 12 of Rams is now used.
Probably not the best use for it, but.
Yeah. Also, when you come up and ask if I need help or whatever, I'm like, well, normally from an Ortega, I would say no, but in this case, could use a little help.
All right. Yeah. So as you kind of grab,
seems to be pretty heavy.
Yeah. As you kind of grab onto it, you realize why you're struggling. There's like a little catchment on the bottom of the tray that is up on the actual overhang, and it seems to have snagged it. You sort of reach up and you sort of just give it a good old jolt, which actually straightens out the luggage as it slides into place. The old man thanks the both of you. Oh, thank you, senors. Thank you. I cannot. What is in the case is very precious to me, and I wouldn't want it to get damaged.
Yeah, did nada.
Don't mention it.
At this point, he takes his seat and once again firmly clasps Miss Dr. McFly by the hand and thanks him again profusely for the powder before taking his seat.
Don't mention it.
Heinrich, while the commotion is going on, what is running through this your individual's mind?
He is watching this with the slightest hint of a smirk as he's watching these people struggle, offering no aid at all because he doesn't want to leave his large case alone and unattended. And when they return to this section of the train car, he kind of looks around to all of them and says, "It appears to me that if you just mind your own business, that everything works out in the end."
And that's the problem with you European types. You mind your own business and look at what's happened with you. Still living in castles and running around dressed in armor and all that kind of fancy stuff. Progress is here, not there. You got to remember that.
No, the progress is here. And he points towards the direction the train's going.
Well, sure. I mean, absolutely. That's why we're all here, Ryan.
At this point, the conductor, who is standing behind you, and looks to be the exact same size and build as Vinnie Jones, turns and says, "Oi! Move out the bloody road!" He waits for you to take your seats.
See what I said.
I'm gonna give him the stink eye before I sit down.
All right. And I sit down and go back to my picture book.
As he does so, he basically does this thing where he doesn't actually straight away start moving. He looks at the two Ortegas. He sort of sloshes some spit in his mouth before spitting on the ground, and then storming off quite angry. At the time being wasted.
You drop something.
He doesn't stop each. He's like, well, get that.
You antagonize him.
He pulls out a little black book. Car 3, seat 7. Get this guy.
I'm afraid I'm agreeing with the Frenchman here. I don't think it's wise to antagonize.
Oh, I'm just having a bit of fun. He knows I'm no harm. At least I hope so.
Ortega's all the same.
All right. Well, despite the passengers all now being in place, the train doesn't seem to be moving. You can hear muttering coming from people all around you in their various booths, wondering what the holdup is, some simply complaining about how warm and stuffy the place has become. A few people try to open the windows, but seem to be struggling.
I'm one of the people struggling.
As you sort of try to pull it open, you realize that the windows are actually bolted shut.
Now, how did I miss this?
As you kind of like slightly panicked look at your look at the window that is bolted, leaning over from behind Heinrich's position from the seat behind appears to be a red-haired individual that looks strikingly like Phil. That Phil, this Phil, there he is. Look at him. That's what he looks like. And as he leans in, he says, "Oh, you're doing right, lads. It's a bit of funny weather we have here. What brings you to this neck of the woods, eh?"
My ticket.
Everyone talks so much.
Oh, wait, what? I mean, have you got to find something to do on these types of things, don't you? I mean, otherwise you're as dead as a stone, you know, as they say where I come from.
Then where do you come from?
Oh, well, I come from a fine little town outside of Westminster. They call it Glen Iris. But, you know...
I lean over to Dr. Cletus, and I'm only getting, every third word.
Yeah, I think he's one of these foreign types. You probably find him and that Russian fella are gonna just sit there and yakety yak the whole way back. It's just gonna be
Foreign types! Foreign types! I'll have you notice my family came over here on the first barge, I'll have you know. Real true born and bred here. Slight problem is, though, is that me nan never really kind of appreciated the whole American Western wild and all that nonsense. She wanted me to raise to be a good boy. And I'm alright, I guess. But, you know, I heard some things, you know, out on the platform. I heard that the guild, they're starting to move people, you know. People who want to try and make a new way for themselves, you know, away from the... yeah. You know, death row, you know. By having them go work up at the mines.
The guild, you say?
Aye, the guild. Heard the train is loaded with them. Everyone and their dog. Crazy, you know. Wouldn't catch me in car 4, I'll tell you that much. Oh, hell no. I mean, not to say I'm not a good and law-abiding citizen, mind you. You know, I pay me dues and all this stuff. And I'm now not going to talk about myself anymore. But what brings you folk here? Why are you all heading through the breach there? What about you, big fella? He sort of pats Heinrich on the shoulder.
Oh, don't.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize, you know. Don't worry, my father had a skin condition as well. Terrible rashes. Every time someone touched him, he'd break out in hives. It's absolutely terrible.
Could not afford a private car. I don't want to talk to you at all.
Oh, all right.
I told you they'd be talking to each other like brothers within 5 minutes. Look at them.
This is not what is happening.
Oh,
I find that if I ignore them, I hear none of the words they say.
Sorry about that, sir. I'll let you get back to it, but you know, safe journeys and all that. He sort of turns around, and every now and then he sort of checks to see if you're you know, if Heinrich looks around.
Now, if you do have a strange skin condition on account,
I don't have a strange.
Coming down from where are you from anyway? Sweden? Is it? Are you what is it, the Norway?
What are you even saying? I am from here.
Yeah, sure.
Here.
You're from the train.
I have a very American name. It is Hank Smith.
Hank Smith. That's your name, Hank Smith.
That is my name, yes.
I'm not gonna question. I don't. That's between you and God. I just you have skin cream problem.
I
Then
don't have a need for your skin cream. I don't.
I have.
You are
balm.
interrupted by the sound of a train whistle piercing the carriage. As it does so, the train slowly lurches to life as the passengers behind you sigh with relief. The old man you helped earlier leans back in the chair. He seems to be a lot less stressed out than before. And he sort of muttering to himself, "All right, here we go." The train gradually begins to pick up speed as it makes its way towards what appears to be a massive ring along the tracks. Its wide and round surface is covered with all kinds of strange devices that are a mix of both technology and magic itself, between which a crackling surge of energy, blue light glowing with eldritch waves waft and shift between the arcing electricity bolts that fly through this technological marvel.
I put down my book and I look forward at the ring, and this is my favorite part.
I need to steady my nerves. I just need. Oh my God! Why did I give that to him? I was going through my bag looking for mild sedative of some kind.
You find no sedative, but you do find a bottle that you've labeled ethanol. But you remember that. I was going to say you remember that you watered it down with some various concoctions. It's what you call your doctor's wake up juice.
Oh, God. Damn it. No.
Excuse me, doctor.
This is all normal. This is regular. This. Yeah. What?
If you'd like, I could knock you out. And he lifts his middle fist.
No. God.
You seem to be under some kind of disarray.
Do you not see the ungodly thing that we are heading to right now?
No.
Yeah, you signed up for it.
Yeah.
Well, but the pamphlet didn't say very much about the ring of Satan.
That's just why I choose to do this.
Ain't much to say about it.
It's also probably not too much more comforting for the doctor when I have my head down and my hands behind my neck. I'm like, I can't believe I'm doing this. Why am I going back?
This happens every time.
As you careen closer and closer towards the portal, you notice that there are about a dozen guild soldiers and steamwork devices, huge juggernauts of steel and fire that stand in formation defending against the breach. As the train reaches a barricade, the barricade is lifted and separated, and without slowing down, the train plunges into the portal's breath and into Malifaux. The first and second car disappear into the shimmering silver blue portal, one after the next. Your car is right behind, and from your perspective, the glowing light seems to be rushing through the train like a tidal wave. As you plunge into the dimensional rift, an intense feeling of vertigo assaults your head, triggering intense headaches, the likes of which you have never felt before. You watch as the old man nearby takes some of that powder and sort of places it on his tongue in a bid to try and stave off the terrible pain. The doctor feebly reaching across at the powder he gave away. The pain lasts but for a moment, however, as you open your eyes and see that the four of you alone are in your carriage. The old man, the people behind you, everyone seems to be gone. The brilliant silver blue light that spilled into the train now hovers outside the windows. You glance only to see that stabbing pain in your head returns with a vengeance. It's then that you realize that the train isn't just empty. It is silent, still, unmoving. There is no click-clack of the wheels against the rails, no rumbling of the engines, just a silence and a strange scratching sound.
This is by far the best part of this train ride.
Do they change something in our itinerary? I don't remember this being a a detour apart. Let me see it where, and I try to pull up, like, I try to find like my receipt or something.
There's nothing to worry about. This is great. This is very quiet. Just enjoy.
What do you mean they're all gone?
And there's
Yeah.
some kind of scratching outside. I don't think I want that kind of quiet.
All right, they are gone, and we are better off for it.
What do you mean we're better off for it? We're never better off when someone dies. Sure, he might have been some weird Spaniard or whatever he was.
Wait.
I think it was
We don't know
Irish.
that they're dead. We don't know that anybody was dead. They could have been teleported away. But my question is, why not us? What made us different?
Maybe we passed out. Wait, that's probably it. We probably passed out. They all left.
And we're all sharing the same dream? Is that something you see regularly, Doc?
No, we're awake now. I'm saying we passed out whilst we were in transit. I had done some reading on this, but not a huge amount. It was the pamphlet in the station, really.
I'm gonna reach over and pinch the doctor.
I'm real. It doesn't work that way. You gotta pinch yourself, I think.
Well, if it hurt you, then I guess we're not passed out.
Right.
Now,
You hear the sound of a latch clicking open. And another.
Like, ominously slow.
Yes, ominously slow. You sort of turn your attention across the way to the large bag that you helped place upon the storage rack. The latches are now open. Inside, you hear something moving, something shifting around.
Do I have my rifle?
Yes, you do. You have a license for it as a legal standing citizen of the guild.
I have a question.
Yep.
My spell Phantasm. How big of an illusion can I actually make?
You can make any kind of illusion that you would like with the Phantasm spell. The difference is that the more unbelievable it is, like for example, if you were to summon a colossal Neverborn to suddenly emerge from the ground here, the less likely it is that that'll be believable.
Can it cover other objects to like hide them?
No. It will basically be like a hologram being in a hologram. Like, you know, you could sort of make the outline of the solid object through the phantasm.
So if I were to make an empty car or, train car seat, whatever, it wouldn't hide us?
No.
Dang it. Okay. Then I'll just get my Collier Navy pistol out and ready.
Okay.
Again, I find that if you just ignore things, they have a tendency to just go away.
Really, like that Archduke Ferdinand problem that y'all are having. He's just gonna go away?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, of course not. You're
At-
Swedish.
I was born here.
As
of course, Hank.
as the sound of the scratching dies down, the sound of the case bursting open as these creatures
What the hell?
emerge from inside the bag, each of them a wooden construct of sorts, animated by what appears to be dragging ropes that hang loose in the air, but seem to be twisting and turning as the body jerks to life. The waist, the hips, the arms, all independently moving in motion as 4 of these creatures lurch out of the bag and head straight for you. Their chattering jaws and clacking wooden stakes, only silenced by the sound of the razor-sharp blades attached to their hands.
Now see what you have done.
Well, that's something you don't see every day.
All right, we're gonna flip for initiative. So flipping for
Should've known this was a trap.
flipping for initiative. Here's what we're gonna go. Dr. McFly. We have a 11 of rams. That plus your initiative will give you your turn order. Your
I'm looking-
your initiative is in your skills. I think I put them there because there was no place in the character sheet.
Gotcha. 11 plus 3 is 14.
14. Okay. Then we have Henrik. You have pulled a 7 of rams.
7 it is.
7 it is.
I'll keep initiative for you if you like, Michael.
Oh, thank you. That'll be much appreciated. McMarron, you have pulled out a 13 of crows.
Heck yeah. So what do I add to that?
Your initiative. It should be in your skills.
I don't think I put anything into initiative.
No, you don't need to. It was one of those calculated things. But is it
Oh.
there?
Yeah, probably. I do not. Oh, there. 1. So 14.
All right,
Okay.
There we go.
And last but certainly not least, we have Quinton with a 4 of rams.
Awesome. What am I looking at again? Or what am I looking for?
Your initiative. It should be in your skills.
Oh, in my skills, there we go. Still looking. It's not in my skills, so I'm not sure.
Okay. What's your speed?
-1.
And your notice? If you have ranks in notice.
I do. For AV, 0.
Okay, so 0. So yeah, that is a straight 4 for your initiative on that. And the marionettes, they will go on a 7, which I believe is tied with Heinrich. But we're going to have Heinrich go first before them.
All right.
All right.
McFly and McMarion. Initiative.
What?
You and I are going first. We're on 14.
Oh,
All right.
Cool.
So, to clarify for the rules, everyone gets 2 actions which they can spend in any fashion. Most actions are a single action in order to perform unless stated otherwise. Talking is a free action unless you are trying to achieve an objective with it, like, you're trying to intimidate them or something.
Is this normal? Is this what we are? These like the welcoming committee, or do I? What, is this what we expect to see on the train?
I
Yeah, I'm
don't.
not-
I don't expect our welcoming committee to be made of wood.
Shoot them!
Or have swords for hands.
Oh, that.
I fire.
All right. The doctor looses a round from his rifle as the loud cacophonic explosion of his gunpowder setting off near in close proximity rings through the carriage.
Doc.
We are going to flip for his attack, which is a it is a 9 of spades.
14 total.
14 total will beat the defense of these creatures, meaning that you succeed in your damage. Now, based on how much you've succeeded, will determine how much what we roll for the damage. So, that was a 14, did you say?
Yes, sir.
Which means you beat them by a minor value. So we flip 2 cards, and you will take the lowest, which we have flipped an 11 of clubs. An 11 of tomes, and we have flipped a 5 of masks.
Guess we're taking the 5 of masks.
All right. Now the 5 of masks is weak damage, so it'll be the first number on your weapon's damage list.
Weapons damage list. I have the weapon under equipment. I don't see the damage.
So there should be 3 numbers with 1 number, then a slash, second number, then a slash, and then a
In
third
your
number.
in your attacks.
In my attacks?
Yeah, I think I put it in your attacks. So they should be underneath your stats.
Gotcha. 2, 3, or 4.
Okay, so 2 damage. As the bullet round strikes the wooden frame of this puppet, It falls to the ground in pieces.
Ha!
No sooner than that happens, the head rotates to face the Doctor, and the arms and legs begin to reassemble, being pulled by these invisible strings. Well, sorry, by visible strings, as they are raised back onto their feet, with the bullet hole appearing in its chest as flecks of wood crack from its body.
Had to be puppets.
I have a technical question. I'm sorry to do this.
No, do
But it takes 2 action points to reload. Can I, because I've taken 1 action to fire, can I take 1 action to start reloading now, next round another action to finish reloading, and then fire?
I'm going to say yes for the moment. However, I'm not entirely sure on if that's legal, but I am the Fate Master, and I have decided that Fate will allow you to do this thing. So he quickly fumbles through his bandolier of, well, not bandolier, his little belt pouch of rifle rounds, sticking another in the slot and cocking the rifle, ready for a second attack. McMarron. Oh, sorry? McMarron.
Let's see. I move very swiftly and rush up to them. I have completely cast off my leather waistcoat, and now you can see that I have my leather satchel, but also a dark metal breastplate underneath. And it looks like I've been ready for some time for a fight, because my arms are already wrapped in what look like leather and steel gauntlets, geared for
Battalion.
Typical Ortegas.
And so I will move, and I will punch. Actually, no, I will move. Is drawing a weapon an action?
No.
Okay. All right. So I will. Seeing that the one that kind of reassembled with the strings, I'm gonna do my diligence to draw out my Kusarigama and cut the strings from behind, if I can.
Alright, so grabbing forth a very unusual weapon, a tiny sickle with a huge chain on one end, you watch as McMarron sort of swings it in arcs around his back before loosing it and attempting to slice at the strings holding up the marionette. We're going to flip to attack, and if you succeed, we'll go the whole thing. Okay, so actually, this is a 0 action for you, actually, McMarron. It's a special effect of the marionette, and because you're targeting it, 0 action. So that is a 10 of rams.
Cool. With the AV then added to it?
Okay, so 10 of rams. Yep. Add it to your attack.
So 13.
Okay. Okay. So, your weapon is now entangled by the strings themselves. However, by doing so, the puppet itself is basically bound and struggles to kind of move properly.
Okay, and that was a 0 action.
Yeah. So you've got your you've still got your 2 actions.
Well, seeing as that's the case, I'm gonna try to. I guess I'll. I don't think they're gonna. It's not gonna be really any use to like interrogate them or anything. So I think I'll just try to wrestle them to the ground and rend the ropes manually. So as soon as I throw the Kusari and I see it get tangled, I let go and I immediately just grab hold and like tackle it forward.
All right, so leaping over the seat, you manage to get your shoulder in, and you, oh, Black Joker. A Black Joker in this game is the effective version of a critical fumble. It is a failure. It is fate having disliked you, as you have leapt forth towards the marionette. Sadly, what you did not realize when you threw off your leather coat is that it tangled at your feet, casting you forward and to the side, directly into the back of Dr. McFly, who basically between the two of you, the rifle slides across the ground towards the tiny little wooden puppet demon things.
Go get it.
Well, I'm sure they don't know how to use it.
Two of them pick it up.
Frack.
You just had to open your mouth.
All right, so McMarron, so you can use an action to stand back up if you like.
Can I crawl and at least scoot the rifle closer to Cletus?
Oh no, they're with the Bunraku. I mean, you can crawl over to them if you like.
Okay, but you said they picked it up. That's right. All right. Well, I will try to wrestle it back away from them.
All right, very well. Make a grapple attempt, which is a 4 of ravens.
That's a 7 in all.
A 7. 7 is just not enough. It's not doesn't fail by too many margins, but you attempt to grab the rifle, but the two of them sort of like and they pull it, and you find it difficult. These tiny things are surprisingly strong.
Okay.
No, it's just Ortegas are surprisingly weak.
All right. Next up,
Heinrich. Sorry, what was it? Harold?
Hank.
Sorry.
Hank Smith,
Hank.
a
Hank
very
Smith.
American name. He stands and has to like kind of arch over in the cart or in the car area, and he steps out into the hallway, into the aisle, and stands to his full height, and he looks around and says, "Excuse me, just get out of the way. Excuse me, please." And he's just sort of moving you to the side as he sort of
Hey,
casually
now.
walks down towards these things, but he takes up most of the aisle. Seeing that these are constructs, can I analyze them somehow for some kind of a weak point?
Yes. Taking an action, you may use your engineering in order to try and find what the... You know what? I'll use your engineering check to give you all the properties of these creatures.
Can I argue for artifacting?
Yes, but I'm going to give you a negative flip on it. So you'll take 2 and
Okay.
take the lower.
Cool.
Okay. So that is a 6 of tome and a 10 of ravens. So, that being said, not half bad.
So the 6 would be a 10.
The 6 would be a 10. Okay, with a 10, I'm going to say that is enough on the nose. So, let me just put out a 6 of clubs. There we go. Boom. Okay. What you would know. Though made of wood, these puppets are able to act mostly on their own, though they are still bound by the strings of their creation and forced to dance where the puppet master who holds their strings flick there. Originally crafted by a puppet master known as Collodi, the secret to creating these creatures is a very closely guarded secret, rumored in fact to involve not only the construction and building of a very well-built body, but also the trapping of the souls of children. These creatures are indistinguishable from normal dolls when they are not moving. In addition, they can use their grace instead of might when they are making attacks. They have trailing strings, which, if no one is holding them, they can basically move around freely and conduct as they would. However, another evil creature may, or even one of you guys, the Fated, can pick up the strings in order to exert some command over them. When an enemy is holding them, that is, of course, when one of you guys are holding them, they gain the slow condition, which prevents them from taking one of their 2 actions every round. In addition, if an ally to them is holding the strings, they get a bonus to their attacks in the form of a plus flip. For the most part, they have a unarmed strike, which in this case is a bladed weapon. And in addition, they also have the ability to move as a free action, as if something has been pulling them or tugging them in random directions.
Does Heinrich see where the strings trail off to?
The strings appear to be unattended, but they seem to lead to the back cart. So they're loose, but they're kind of all in that direction.
Got it. Yeah, I think he's going to just wade in the same way he waded through his cart mates. He's going to just push past all of these tiny puppets towards like the rear of them, putting himself between the puppets and the end of the train car. And as his second action, he's going to try to scoop up all of the strings and hold them.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to say that you can push past them. As you do so, you will, however, disengage from 2 of them. This will basically provoke an attack. Now, in this game, an attack like this isn't actually going to deal damage. Instead, if they succeed, they will simply stop your movement. By doing so, if they succeed, they will basically stop you where you are, which will be in the center of 4 of them and not in a happy place. However, you will get your second action continued, and you can do whatever you want with it. You don't have to do the same thing you said just then. Alright, so this is against your defense ability.
Okay.
Unless you want acrobatics, which I don't imagine you do.
I do not, I don't think. I'm pretty sure no.
Oh, okay, that's not great.
Okay.
You have you have a 2. Well, do you wish to cheat fate? Or do you wish to
You know what? I would like to cheat fate. I'm going to use the 10 of masks.
Very well. The 10 of masks has been consumed. By doing so, you have succeeded in pushing past. As you sort of make your way through, the 2 Bunraku that have the rifles attempt to get in your way and trip you using the butt of the gun. But as you sort of kick it with your foot, the locking mechanism from the reload hasn't been fully set, so it bends in half as opposed to stays rigid and trips you over. You manage to push past them, getting to the other side, and with your second action, reach down and try to scoop up as many strings as you can.
Yes.
Alright, so we're going to make this a grapple check as well. So, ooh, that is a jack of ravens, of crows.
Okay. I don't have the skill grapple, so what do I add to that?
That'll be your might.
Okay.
Sorry. Speed, right? McMahon? Or Phil?
What? Yeah, it's speed.
Speed, sorry.
So -1.
Okay, so that is a 10. 10 is on the nose what you need to get, and you manage to grab hold of the strings of, I'll say, 2 of them. So
Okay.
2 of them will be slowed in their turn.
And there's 4, right?
Correct.
Okay.
All right, next up,
Yeah,
I
so
believe,
you,
is the...
smashes past everything and just scoops it up and kind of tugs them back so that everyone can kind of see that he's holding the strings.
Bad puppet.
All right.
It's very easy to do. Just take them and yank on them like a dog.
Oh, is that it? Well, I was trying to do that.
No,
Clearly.
you won't. That's not true.
Yeah.
All right. The
Just a little bit.
the puppets seem enraged by this, chattering even louder. The 2 puppets that Heinrich has, their heads rotate 180 degrees, looking directly at him before rotating 180 degrees that way and then bouncing back with a bit of a jiggle in the momentum. They both are slowed, do not appreciate it, and are going to attempt to slash at poor Heinrich's legs which is the only thing they can reach. Alright, that is a 9 versus your defense. So we're going to flip for your defense and see what you get, which is, for the first attack, a 13 of tomes.
So 15.
Now, I just want to. This ability, threatening posture, this affects them, right? Because they are not attacking me.
Yes, but I think you need to actually use impose first.
Oh, it doesn't say that.
Is that correct? Oh, no, okay. What does threatening posture do?
Enemies engaged with a character, with this character suffer a penalty on close combat attacks made against targets other than herself, who do not also possess this talent.
Yeah, alright. So they'll take a negative penalty, which they'll still miss. I mean, they'll miss. Alright. So for your defense, the first one takes his blade and tries to shank you in the ankle. You sort of raise your foot just out of range, as the second one uses that opportunity to slash at your second ankle. Oh my god, are you kidding me? 13 of diamonds. As that one-legged stand turns into a quick and deft hop over the slashing blades.
And then when he lands, the whole train car.
Yeah, the whole train. Yeah, you basically feel the shocks of the train just.
You see the cables again.
All right. As he sort of tugs on the cables, these things angrily start fighting back. But again, they're not very strong against these things. The two that have the rifle start arguing with each other because the rifle got snapped. They look at each other and they start. Yeah, I know. If you know where that's from, leave a comment. as they then work together and snap the bullet into place, taking one of each of their actions. They then take aim at McMarron, who is the closest target, who is trying to grab their new toy. And they attempt to shoot him with a loud bang. Now this is technically going to be randomized. So Cletus and McMarron, I'll need to flip for the both of you in order to see what exactly you which of you two actually get hit by this bullet.
If I get shot by my own goddamn rifle.
All right, so Cletus, you get a 7.
I'll be a star to tell your kids.
Cletus, you get a 7, and McMarron, you get a 5. So they're going to shoot McMarron.
Hey.
So this is now going to be your defensive flip, as we then flip, and that is an 8 of ram. So what do we get for that?
So I add my defense plus the armor bonus.
No, your armor bonus is your damage reduction. So when you get hit, you'll reduce the damage by that.
Okay, so then I have a 5 for defense. So then that's a 13.
A 13? A 13 is enough as the bullet ping, ricochets off your armor. You manage to avoid a dangerous blow.
Whew.
You're lucky that's an Enfield musketoon. That will take your head clean off, and that usually results in death.
Well, it didn't. You sure this is not a toy rifle, like a BB gun, maybe?
You fetch that rifle, I'll shoot you with it, and you can tell me if you think it's a toy or not.
Or I have half a mind to let them keep it.
Ladies, you're both beautiful.
What? I've got a cue for you, boy. All right.
Could we please
All right.
this?
Quentin.
You're the one holding all the strings.
Since I am holding
zero
2 of
strings.
You're the master of puppets.
Quentin.
Okay, so when I see that the doctor has dropped his shotgun,
No, I didn't drop it. he made me throw it away.
Uh-huh.
When the doctor drops his shotgun, I come over with my Navy pistol. And I'm gonna be kind of like sort of protecting the doctor because I'm not gonna let anyone die on this train. And I'm gonna take aim at the one that he shot at. And
Okay.
take a shot.
All right. Let's take the flip. That is a 9 of masks plus your attack.
That would be AV, so that's 5.
5. Okay, so that is a minor success. As such, we flip 2, and you take the lower, which is in this case a 10 of tomes, which is a moderate wound. So you will be using the second number for the damage of your weapon.
3.
3. So that is 5 points of damage. And with that, the one that the doctor had shot and that you have subsequently followed up breaks into pieces and rolls along the ground. This time, the lifeless wood simply ceases to move.
Oh.
Hooah! That's what I'm talking about. That's teamwork. That's what that is. That is teamwork right there.
That's a real gun.
Why
Dr. McFly.
Yeah, I have a half mind just to leave someone to go and play with his toys.
I still have a second action, but I
Oh,
don't
sorry.
think
Sorry. Carry on. You do have indeed a second action.
I'm going to, as a second action, I guess, be a body shield in front of the doctor until he at least gets his shotgun back.
All right. So you move in order to try and create a barrier between the Bunraku and the doctor. As you sort of step in line, you sort of point your gun down towards them. Now, how many cartridges does your pistol have? Sorry, how many rounds?
Would that be under reload?
Yes, I believe so.
2 AP.
Okay, so yeah, it's likely a single shot pistol. So you'll need 2 rounds to reload it. 2 actions to reload it. So you can so yeah, you've moved up and you're sort of holding the gun, sort of threateningly.
Yeah. They don't know that I'm out of bullets at the moment.
You hope they
don't. All right.
They said, did he fire 5 shots or 6 shots?
All right, Dr. McFly.
Oh,
You could load my gun for me.
Like I said, I got a powder for you with all these weird phrases.
See, I thought you were gonna go. It's like we just met. I don't know about priming another man's gun yet.
No. There's definitely a chemical solution there.
At least it's not pump action.
If you would hand me your pistol, I will reload it for you.
Oh wait, sorry. My apologies. There are 6 bullets in the cartridge here. I just checked it up.
So
you've got
right,
you got 5 more. Yeah, you got 5 more shots.
Right, that's fine. In which case, then the best thing that I can do is I'm going to just stand ready. Well, I suppose if they come closer, I'll give them a piece of my mind.
Okay.
I trust your ability, Doctor.
I don't.
Very well. Okay. Well, realizing the somewhat futile nature of attacking, you watch as they kind of fight over your rifle before dropping it to the ground. Mostly realizing that they also don't have any more bullets.
That's right. See, this is what you need, you little wooden toy things.
All right. We then go to McMarron.
I'm gonna stand up and basically say you're gonna have to do a lot better than that to take me down, and I'm going to do a lasting challenge and do the impose action on the ones that try to shoot me.
All right, so you'll need to make an intimidation flip against their
Center, I believe.
centering, which is their tenacity, which is 3. All right, so you need to beat a 3.
I need to beat a 3, just a straight 3.
Yep.
All right.
So that is a 9 of rams.
I add 4. It's a 13.
Yeah, that'll do it. Okay, so from this point on, the creatures actually take penalties for damage and attacks against targets that are not Senor McMarron.
Doubly so now.
Doubly so now.
All right, and so then I will try to wrestle like I did before this time, and get the closest one I can.
Mm-hmm.
Try to rend its head from its body.
All right, make a grapple check as you reach for the one that also had the rifle, but is obviously not dead. As you flip it out, that is an 8 of crows.
And that's an 11.
Bang! You shoulder check this little tiny creature in the body. It is now grappled by you.
Sweet. I think those are all my actions.
Excellent, excellent. Next up, we go to Heinrich, who still has the strings in the palm of his hands.
Mm-hmm. So I have 2 of the rear ones in my hands. One is crumpled and one is currently engaged, correct?
Yes.
Okay. He is going to look at the crumpled one and stretch his giant metal arm out towards it. And he says, "Get up, little one. It is not your time." And he raises his hand, and I'm going to attempt to use Animate Construct.
Oh! Oh!
Very well. Okay, so animating construct requires you to pull out a very specific card. Now, at this point, could you tell me what the target number and the suit of card you need to successfully cast your animate construct?
I can't, because I don't know it.
It should be on that second document that we made with all the spells that you have.
It isn't.
Isn't it?
No. I mean, Machine Construct is, or Animate Construct is, but it doesn't tell me what the required numbers and whatnot are.
Isn't it? Hang. Oh, I feel like you're lying. Give me a second.
And I didn't write it down.
Ah, you filthy liar. Hang on.
Where is it?
It's right there. Target number 10 of rams. TN, 10 ram.
Where?
Right there. Right there.
Point it out.
Alright, hang on. You know what?
I don't actually see that.
Alright, hang on. Wait.
Well, it doesn't matter, mate.
I believe you. 10 of rams. I totally believe you.
Can I? Oh, I didn't do that. No, go away. Damn it. I was trying to paste the thing. Okay,
No,
I didn't do
don't
it. Okay.
I'm
No.
here.
Okay.
I need specifically the 10 of rams.
Okay, 10 of rams. Yep, you need to pull a 10 of rams or higher. Alright, so here we go. By the power of the cards. Say
It's not.
5 of tome.
Damn it. Seeing it fail, he cocks his hand back and punches one of the ones in front of him.
Oh, that's
Here. I'm holding this one. Punch this one.
He's holding the other 2, so he just yanks back on one of the strings and
All right.
crunches.
All right, make your pugilism. Pugilism? Pugilism. Make your pugilism attempt against this poor little creature who all it wanted to do was to bring a little light into the lives of the people it performed for.
Aww.
All right.
Will make us feel bad for the monsters.
That is an 8 of diamonds.
So that is a 12.
12 will hit as you basically hear the sound of hissing steam as his mechanical arm clenches into a fist. Gas basically resonates from his fist as he grinds the gears backwards. You can see that there are these railway tacks on his fists, which then come down with a pneumatic crash into the body of these creatures. So that is what was the total, sorry?
It was 12.
12, so that is a negative flip. So flip 2. Okay, never mind, because...
I ignore one negative flip on pugilism.
Nice.
You sure you want to do that right now? Because you didn't need to.
It's part of my limb. I think it just happens every time, doesn't it?
No, just say. You know what? No. Just say no. Just say no, Michael. I don't want to do this thing. Good, because you pulled out a red joker.
Yeah.
A red joker is an automatic critical hit. So here is what happens. The first thing that happens, it's probably not going to survive, to be honest. It is you do the highest number of damage plus the lowest number of damage, and you get to pick a suit of whatever you want to if you want to activate your trigger.
Okay, so it takes 7 damage plus my 1 from my rail spikes. So that takes a total of 8 damage, and I'll activate my trigger, which is Crow is my trigger.
Okay, and what does it do?
Man, I wrote that part down. Industrial strength. After damaging the target, receives a critical effect if inappropriate. I don't know. I wrote it down, but I don't know.
Oh, right. So yeah, you get 2 critical hits. Basically, is what happened. All right. So here is what basically happened. As you watch him lift up with his real hand, this puppet who's sort of like slashing and trying to stay alive. This fist basically just Hulk v Iron Man's this thing's face into oblivion as you just watch the fist just go chung 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 chung, boom 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 boom, bang 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 bang, straight into the ground, and you actually hear the sound of the train's chassis bending and warping from the sound of this pneumatic jackhammer basically pulverizing the wood into tiny splinters.
Followed by that of the steam release as the hand resets.
Yep.
Lonely Nights must be very interesting for you.
I'm right-handed.
What the hell are they feeding you out there in Russia?
And from here.
All right.
Yeah, Doc, he's from here.
He's clearly from here. Quentin, you're up next as you stand between the good doctor and the last 2 remaining Bunraku.
Isn't it McMaron's turn first?
No, McMaron had...
You're
No,
up next.
I grappled. I have one in my...
Oh, that's right.
In my clutches.
That's right. Sorry. It's now 7 o'clock in the morning. I've been up all night. Okay,
Do not complain. By the way, future reference, do not complain to Australians about getting up for early morning streams, okay? Rule number 1. Go on.
But I'm not used to it. So, anyway. You said I still have bullets left in my pistol, correct?
That is correct. You've got 5 bullets resting in your chamber, raring to rip through some raggedy little bastards.
Okay, so both actions are going to be bang bang, hitting the same target. One of the puppets that our Russian friend is holding.
Okay. The one that the Russian is holding, you flip a 3 of tomes. What's the
Plus
total?
5. That would be 8.
Ooh, 8 does not make it. Do you want to cheat?
No, but I think that might activate one of my triggers, I believe.
The trigger only activates if it hits.
Oh, if it hits, okay, then never mind. Okay, second attack, same puppet.
Second attack. 6 of crows.
So that is an 11.
An 11. Yeah, that'll do it. As you bang collide with the puppet that's dangling in midair, he sort of bounces around a little bit like he's kind of just being pinated around. You beat him by a minor margin, which is 2 flips. Take the lowest. Which is, after the flip, a 12 of ram and a ace of diamond. Sorry, ace of mask. Gotta stop doing that. There you go. Which is your weak damage. So what is the first lot of damage? 2?
2, yes.
All right, 2 points of damage to the dangling puppet. As we then return to the top of the round, and Dr. McFly.
My rifle's been put down. Can I rush over and grab it?
It is actually adjacent to you. You can grab it from where you are right now.
Perfect. I grab it and immediately start reloading. It will take me the rest of the round.
For some reason or another, as soon as you lay your hands on your rifle, it's almost as if it feels happy to be back home and reloads at a rather expeditious efficiency. As McMarron seems to be fighting off this struggling puppet. Ack, ack.
Now, hold still here. Come on. Make this easy for me, and I'm gonna try to just like pop off its head.
All right, roll a grapple.
Draw a grapple.
Oh yeah, that's right. Draw a grapple. I'll get this. There's many years to like condition. Wow. Okay, that is a 13 of rams. As you grab its head and you wrench it back, the muscles begin to swell as the head comes clean off and rolls across the ground.
There you go. And is it still flailing?
It seems to go limp for a moment. You will flip for free a scrutiny check. So what is your scrutiny, if you have it?
I don't have scrutiny, so...
Cunning.
Cunning, that's a 0, so just give me a card.
Boom! That is a 6, which is not great. You fail to notice, as it goes limp in your hands, the head begins to float above the ground. Waka 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 waka. It starts making its way towards you.
I got it!
Why you say I don't notice that, though?
You do not notice it, but that's still what happens.
Doc, what are you talking about? I killed it.
The doc seems to be aiming a rifle at your face.
Doc, I was just playing. I feel it's a real gun now. I do. I really do.
It's all loaded. I just have to pull the trigger.
All right, Heinrich.
How many are left standing? Just
Uh,
the other one I'm yanking on.
Yep, and the floating head.
Yeah. He deals with the one in his hand, and he is going to reel that mechanical arm back again and punch this thing in the face to oblivion.
All right. As it reloads, the fist comes back down, and we flip a 4 of diamonds.
That would be an 8.
An 8 is a miss. As you sort of swing down at it, it seems to bob out the way, dodging with as it swings. Your hand resets as it comes back in with the hiss of the steam.
And the hand goes right back in.
Oh! And again, following the momentum, the tiny little agile puppet reads the ducking and weaving and manages to evade yet again.
This one is proving more difficult.
The puppets, the tiny puppet, the floating head, roars behind and bites onto the shoulder of McMarron. You may roll it.
Now what, tarnation?
Yeah, you flip.
That's why I said I got it.
Okay.
You flip your defense, which is 5 plus
5, so 10.
Yes, thankfully your thick and heavy armor managed to stop it from sinking its tusks into your shoulder blades. You hear the scraping and grinding sound as the jaws, like a vice, slowly begin to pinch closed. The second dude is going to try and stab Heinrich, but he only gets a single attack. Heinrich, your defense. You gain a 10 of masks, which is plenty, as you basically just stretch your hand out a little further and hold it just so far away that it's sort of like, yeah.
Like a toddler.
Yeah, basically. All right, Quentin.
Okay, sweet. First, going to tell the doctor, take care of the puppet on Marin, and then I'm going to continue to take aim and bang bang the puppet that Heinrich is also trying to punch in the face.
All right, your first attack. You pull out a 6 of masks.
That'll be an 11.
11 will hit.
Sweet.
So, because you've hit with the 11, you beat it by a minor range. Flip 2, take the lowest, which is a 12 of tome and a 4 of tome. So that is minor damage.
So yeah, that's 2.
Okay, 2 damage, and that's the one that that's being held up at the moment.
Yes.
So that's
Second attack.
Yep. Second attack is an 8 of tome.
Sweet. That is, I have to do math now, 13.
13. Again, that is a minor victory with 2 flips. That is a 3 and a 2 of ram. So
That's another 2.
That is another 2 damage, but that is plenty. As the body of the Bunraku being held up just falls to the ground into pieces.
Nice.
Don't move!
The doctor taking aim.
All right, here, take it out. Get off.
I
Just had this armor detailed.
All right, flipping for the attack. We pull out a 7 of masks.
I'll call on my queen.
Oh, calling on the queen. So that is a 12 of rams being summoned.
Yep.
All right.
With the 12 of rams, going to be 17.
17. That beats it by a reasonably moderate margin. You get to flip a card straight up, which is a 7 moderate damage. That is the second number on your rifle.
All right, that's a 3.
Oh yeah, just straight away, straight through the head. As the head basically creates a perfect dime-shaped hole from the front of its forehead to the back of its skull, and the mask splits in half with one eye that rotates one way and the other eye rotating the other way, and it just sort of falls apart like, the seam of an Easter egg. And they fall with a wooden clatter to the ground as the last of the Bunraku are defeated.
Oh, nice shooting there, Doc.
Is it a toy now? No.
I already...
All right.
Heinrich bends over, grabs the tangle of all of the 4 creatures' cables, turns and looks back towards the other end of the train car, the way to his back, and just over his shoulder, he looks back to everyone and says, "There is probably more. This way, please." And he starts following that towards the end of the train car.
So it's kind of like a bindle. He's sort of hanging these puppets over the back of his shoulder. His big, broad muscles now in full view are kind of imposing. What do you guys do?
Is this regular? Is this what we can expect out here? I mean, they said it was dangerous, but I did not realize it was this kind of... I mean, they're goddamn marionettes.
Yeah, well...
Do you remember at the beginning of the train when you wanted to domesticate the Nephilim? This way.
When Heinrich says for us to follow, I'm like, wait, where are you? What?
Reload, please.
Doc, I want to say that out here, the most dangerous ones don't even have strings. And I'll follow back.
You hear a scream coming from the cart behind you.
Wait, behind us, as in the opposite direction to which?
No. The way that Hank's going. So in front of where Hank's going, carriage 4, further away from the engine room of the train.
We should probably call the conductor. It's a train problem. Right?
No, he is likely dead.
Or gone, like everyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to
We don't
ask.
know that they're dead. We just know that everyone disappeared.
Is that regular?
This is Malifaux. They're dead.
Now, I don't know what you mean, you Latvian weird steam-driven amputee thing you are.
I don't even
But-
know where Latvia is.
Well, you go first.
Yeah, he's an American. He won't know where Latvia is.
I was going first, but thank you for the permission. And he takes another step forward and puts his hand on the latch to open the train car and opens it and slides it to the right.
All right.
I pick up
As-
my Kusarigama from the tangle of puppets.
As you retrieve your gear and weapons for what is effectively a combat or preparation for a battle, you can't help but notice the oppressive silence that is only broken by your constant mutterings and your footsteps on the steel floor. You can't help but wonder for a moment if you will ever escape your strange predicament and the glowing world that the train has been plunged into. You have actually heard stories from the platform and from rumors of entire trains of people going missing as they passed through the breach. Of course, until now, you had assumed that they were all just stories. Your contemplation is, however, interrupted as Heinrich opens the door into the carriage beyond. As you do so, you find yourself in a hang on. Okay, you find this. Okay, throwing open the door to the next cart, you realize that behind you, that yellow light seems to pulse out of the windows and start filling the room with that aching, throbbing pain once more. But thankfully you manage to avoid it, for you step into the next carriage, and out of the terrible light, you find yourself in a prison car, where the seats have been replaced with wooden benches built into the walls, with shackles rising up from the floor. You see a smoking body of a guild soldier, uniformed with his cowboy duster and cowboy hat, smoldering literally on the floor in front of you. His partially melted rifle burnt and seared to the palms of his hands. The only other inhabitant of this room is a square-jawed man in a striped convict uniform, looking not too dissimilar to this handsome gentleman.
I'm gonna turn to the doctor and say, before you ask, no, this is not normal. And then I'm going to start looking the burned guild soldier's body over, see if there's like anything I can salvage from it, or maybe some sort of clue I can get from anything.
As you
Don't move! I shout at the man.
to the guy
The
sitting on
prisoner.
the okay, yep. As the doctor holding his rifle yells out to this clearly imprisoned individual, he grins and his eyes seem to glow the same kind of silvery blue as the energy that surrounds the train. He speaks with kind of like this strange tone that sits in the back of his throat. You fellas care to help a bloke out? He reveals that his hands and legs are still heavily shackled and connected to the floor.
Are the strings are heading back to him, right? Or are they?
Oh, no. They were just dangling loose. They were just in that direction. Like, they were almost
Oh,
like...
okay.
Think of it like hair and a magnet, like it sort of stretched out that way, but it wasn't being sort of taut or wasn't pulled from this direction.
Okay, so no one was controlling them.
No.
Before. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that depends. Can you help us out?
Well, I'm a man of many talents. Perhaps it's something I could help you with.
You ain't doing this, are you? I'm gonna gesture to the light, or like, just everything. I just gesture to everything.
Hey,
What kind of question is that? If he is doing it, he's not going to say yes. If he
Well,
is not, he's not going to say yes either.
Well, I mean, he may be really proud. Are you proud of your work, son?
he sort of takes a moment and looks down at the guard that's smoldering on the floor, and he says, I might have some pride in some of the work I do.
There, you see, Doc?
I'm just gonna shoot him straight up. He just confessed to killing a completely innocent guard.
Yeah, he's guild. This guy, I'm
Hey.
not so sure.
Whoa. Hold on to that, Doc. Listen. As much as I'd like to take credit for this, I'm just an innocent victim of circumstance. The train, it made me do it. It gives powers to people, I've heard, that go through the drift. As they go through the breach, they develop certain skills. Never had the power to shoot lightning before, but I'm getting a charge out of it, that's for sure.
Bang!
Ah! Yeah, all right. Well, yeah, let's do this. Okay, I'm just gonna go with Flip and see if he survives this first, because I
He
mean,
just confessed he electrocuted the man and he has magical powers. That is.
Well, hold on, Doctor. Yeah, he may have magical powers, but maybe he didn't mean to do this.
It
What
doesn't
are
matter.
you, some kind of democratic liberal?
Are you
Didn't
an
mean
ar-
to kill a man in cold blood?
I'm not
Are you
saying that we're gonna let him go or anything. Obviously, I'm gonna want him to pay for his crimes, but we can't just assume that he did this, on purpose.
Quentin, are you an Arcanist sympathizer? Is that what I'm hearing?
No, I'm just saying that we don't have all the facts right now, and for some reason, this man was in this car was the only one to survive.
well,
We're gonna need all the clues we can get.
before we get too deep into the discussion, the sound of the rifle again ringing through everyone's ears in this very small enclosed area.
Can you give us a warning before you shoot that thing?
You you flip an 11 of masks for Mr.
Ooh.
McFly. So what do we get with that?
16.
A 16 will hit that by no small margin. So you get a straight flip on the damage, which is minor damage. Now, because you don't have a negative flip, you can cheat this if you wish to.
I do.
All right, so you're gonna consume your 6.
Yeah.
All right, 6
No,
of,
I've got a trigger.
on crows.
Which, no, it doesn't say what it's on though. It just says trigger long arm headshot when damaging this attack ignores.
Oh, trigger there. So if you look at your long arm, there should be a letter in brackets.
R.
R. So that's rams.
All right, got you.
Okay. So yes, you will do your medium damage, which I think is what, 4?
3.
3. All right, 3 points of damage. He did not like that. As you hit him, he leans back in his seat. Blood begins to stain his chest and pour down. And he sort of opens his eyes as lightning crackles through them. And he says, "You should have ought not done that." And from there, we will flip for a very quick initiative. Actually, you know what? No, let's keep the same initiative as before, just to save on a bit of time. So, McFly, you've taken your shot. McMarron will go to you.
Now, I don't think Doc is the one you need to be concerned about. I'm the one that's gonna rend your arms from your torso. And I will make a lasting challenge and pose action on him.
Okay. That is a 3 of masks.
I will be spending my 13 of tomes.
All right, so he will take a negative flip against you guys to try and deal damage to anyone but McMarron.
Yep, and I think I get a trigger from that. So, like, probably later on, the interrogation thing, from my intimidate trigger, I will be able to reveal a additional piece of information. from
Very well.
questioning. If he survives.
Oh no, he'll give it to you right now. Basically, what he says as you say that, he sort of spits on the ground, like some blood sort of pouring from his lips, as he says, "It ain't not gonna matter nothing. The engine room is all stuffed up, and with no one on this train to man it, you're gonna be trapped here, just like me."
Shut up.
All right, Heinrich.
Perfect. The guild member guard. What does he carry? Does he
Currently
have like
he's.
a rifle? I mean, he's dead, but did he have a rifle?
The rifle is irreparably damaged. It's literally the metal has been melted. The wood's been burnt, and it's basically part of his hands.
Okay.
Although
And
that
Quentin
being
is
said,
over there looking at this thing.
sorry, I was gonna say, the hands are so burnt and so charcoaled, you could literally lift, and it would fall off.
Oh.
Neat. Okay. And Quentin is over there looking over the corpse.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm the one close to the corpse.
Yeah, Heinrich kind of again wades forward through the sea of people, and he says, "What are you doing? Get out of there!" And he reaches past you and grabs the head of the guardsman and lifts him up and says, "Rise, creature," and places him standing on the ground. And I'm gonna activate Raise Dead, and I'm gonna pop my Immuto increased duration on it twice, making it a target number of 9 that I need. A 9 of crows.
A 9 of crows. All right. Well, there's only one card left, and
Oh,
sadly,
sorry, it's actually not a 9 of crows. Sorry, I forgot that I have a reduce by 2 on all Raise Dead stuff. So it would be a 3 plus 4, so a 7 of crows.
all right. Well, sadly, a 2 of masks does not cut it.
Well, I will tempt fate, and I will use my 5 of crows combined with my plus 4 necromancy, making that a 9.
Dun dun dun.
And
Hi-oh.
this thing, the blue light from around just sort of jumps into this thing, and you see its eyes glow similarly to the convict before us. And he releases its head and turns it towards the convict and says, "Go forth." As he takes another step, and he's going to jam the metal fist into the convict.
All right.
Goddamn Romanian gypsy, that's what he is.
Yeah, I
all right.
reckon they
All-
might be of the same ilk.
Okay, this is kind of like a big thing. The raising of the dead is considered to be a part of a group called the Resurrectionists. Those who dabble in the likes of necromancy. They are one of the firm enemies of the guild and the lawfulness that they have wrought. This being said, there is now a floating head that is assisting you. All right, so the head with its severed spine dangling at its neck opens its mouth as this sort of very fluorescent purple gas lights up its eyes, its mouth, and with a terrifying groan, it lurches towards the creature as Heinrich goes for his attack as well.
Yeah, I believe you have stats for those things. I don't have any stats for undead stuff. I know it's a peon.
Yeah.
4.
Oh yeah, no, I do. That's fine.
And
okay.
as he lifts his hand, you see the pneumatics go down the thing, and he kind of looks back and says, "You saw nothing," and then steps forward and drives it into the convict.
Okay. Now, just because we are running short in time, I will just explain something real quick. I am now reshuffling the deck, and by normal means, you would draw a card from your twist decks because we have done this. I'm, however, not going to do that, mostly because we should finish this combat pretty quick. So, flipping for the damage for Heinrich, flipping for the attack for Heinrich is a 13 of tome.
Oh boy.
So plus 4, so a 17.
17, that will hit with a great margin, so that is a 13 again. So you will do your severe damage. So that is your third number.
So severe damage is 5 plus 1 from the spikes.
And you spike him straight through the body, and his body goes limp.
Don't move!
That was pretty easy, actually. No, he's
No,
already down. You're fine. The threat is gone. You can lower your rifle now.
Nah, I think the threat was replaced, wouldn't you say, Doc?
Ortega, what do you take? What, you can cast all them voodoo stuff, you Haitian?
I take him for a necromancer is what I take him for.
I don't know what the Haitian is.
But you know what a necromancer is. That's
Hank,
what you are.
Yes.
Hank, or whatever your name is, you are, by law of the guild, you are under arrest for committing the act of necromancy against the guild. Now, I'll flash my badge underneath my lace coat.
Technically, the prisoner isn't a member of the guild.
Yeah.
What?
I don't know.
Also, with all this bickering going on, I'm going to stand between everyone and be like, "Shut up! Look, we are stuck somewhere. We have no idea how we're gonna get out of here. And being at each other's throats like this is not helping. Okay, maybe he used necromancy, but right now that doesn't matter because we're gonna be stuck here forever unless we figure out what the heck is going on. So lower your rifle. You stop being intimidating." I turn and point to
Heinrich.
Heinrich. Yeah, Heinrich. Sorry.
I'm not actually doing anything. I'm just standing here.
And then I turn to Mac, the other Ortega. I'm sorry, I forgot you guys' names. Anyway, and I'm gonna be like, and you need to be helpful for a change instead of just trying to pick a fight with everyone.
I don't need to. They're picking a fight with me.
I don't want to fight you, actually. Also, if you don't lower your rifle, I will bend it in half.
Now, he will do that.
I love my rifle. I ain't gonna shoot a foreigner in the face.
No, wait. So,
I am from here.
So Hank is also a part of the guild. We're all part of the guild. I'm confused.
No, Hank is not. Hank is not part of the guild at all.
Okay.
Hank is a necromancer.
That's what I okay. So that's why. Well.
I mean, he's not a resurrectionist. He just has that ability.
Right. Well, you're not getting off scot-free off this train, but we do need to get off this train before I can arrest you. So
why don't we call
it? That was the plumbing, right?
Maybe the death row is
the train?
the jailer of the jailed person.
The noise you heard rattles the train in its entirety, from the tips of the front of the engine to the caboose in the back. Everything resonates. You take a moment and glance outside of the train carriage, and through the searing light, you think you can see what appears to be a cyclopean in size creature, a monstrosity that walks on 4 legs like trunks of a colossal tree, with tendrils that reach down from its stomach and seem to be picking up creatures of equally immense size and stuffing it into its underbelly.
We got to get this train moving. We got to go back. We're not meant to be here. Clearly, this is a mistake.
He said the engine room. I think something's there. We need to figure out that.
Mr. Ortega.
Can any of you operate a train?
I thought you could. You just animated that construct
Your
thing. I thought you
arm
could.
is a train.
Yeah.
That is true, but I am clearly under arrest.
You're under arrest. You're under arrest once you get off the train. We're on the damn train. Now go.
Right. So what motivation do I have to get you off the train?
It's not getting off the train. It's getting the train moving.
A shorter sentence.
Train
Come
pro
on,
flow,
you got it.
Clarice.
You're saving your
All
own
right.
skin here.
All right. Fine. I will make negotiations and put in a good word for you so that you will not have any type of sentence.
That is good. Perfect. If you'd like to grab the rest of your friend, and he points to the headless, now armless guardsman with the melted rifle, and he starts to push back through the people, and he looks back towards Quinn and he says, "Did you say you are also good with machines?"
I've got some engineering abilities that I've been able to acquire in my past. Yeah.
Great. I've never driven a train before, but I'm sure it'll be easy to figure out. And he starts marching towards the engine.
All right.
I'm following behind.
He was joking about me bringing the guard. He is proper dead. I mean,
Isn't he still standing from the necromancy?
No, it's just the head is floating with a spine, and it follows Heinrich, but the rest of the body is still there on the ground. I only pulled his head out and animated
Does anyone
that.
actually try to pick up the corpse? No.
I'm not touching it.
No, it's good. All right, it stays there, and it looks very fragile. It literally looks like it'll crumple if you don't manage to lift it right. You make your way hastily towards the front of the cart. The steam engine, like with the rest of the train, it seems to be completely empty, devoid of sound or movement. You can see the problem right away, and that is, of course, that the engine itself has gone cold. Now, we are going to be going through what is called a ongoing challenge. For this, everyone will need to succeed at least twice before they fail. Oh, sorry. Yeah, succeed twice as opposed to failing. If, however, all of you fail at this challenge, or if the majority of you fail at this challenge, the train will not start. So, to get the train started, you require a combination of any of the following skills: athletics, in order to shovel coal into the flume; engineering, in order to operate the machines itself; or sorcery, in order to alight a flame in the furnace itself. If you have other suggestions, I am open to.
Well, this is just a suggestion for the doctor, but you might have some ranks in alchemy, right? I'm pretty sure you can concoct
I'm a
something.
doctor.
right?
I believe in science. Alchemy is.
And you can science up some explosive firepower, I'm sure, right?
No, I don't. If you wanted a pharmaceutical, if you wanted something that's going to cure you of a headache, sure, but I don't know anything about fires.
On that note, Michael, is there like a help kind of action in this game, or a help mechanic, or an assist, or a teamwork sort of thing?
Not that I've found, but I will be happy to suggest that if you do wish to help someone in attempting it, because the thing is you, even if you don't have the skill, you may still flip on it with your basic statistic. Even if you don't have sorcery, you can flip for a sorcery skill without putting ranks in it. If you assist someone in their skill, it will consume one of your actions, and it will give them a positive flip. So they'll flip twice, take the higher.
Okay, because I'm picking up what Steven is saying here, and Heinrich kind of looks over and he says, "Doctor, I saw that you had many tinctures inside your bag.
Sure.
Are any of them flammable?"
Well, all of the ethanol will go up quite badly, as a matter of fact, I suppose. And
Good. Collect all of your flammable things and give them to me.
that's medication. That's medicine. We can't just throw that in the fire.
Then die on the train.
Well, then just keep your best one, and then we'll burn the rest. I see what he did.
God damn it. All right, fine. Well,
I could just
this is
reanimate.
pure alcohol. This is used for cleaning up the instruments after surgery. It'll burn something fierce, but quite quick. Don't drink none of it neither. It'll knock you on your backside faster than best fire water out there.
I'm hoping this is not from experience, Doctor.
No. Well, there was one time in medical school, but we don't talk about that much.
Right.
He takes it and unscrews the lid, and sort of looks at it, takes a sip, and throws the container into the kiln.
It definitely tastes like something you would clean your parts with, as you pour it into the kiln. Doing so will afford you a positive flip on sorcery checks when attempting to light the fires.
Okay.
All right, well, I'll try the sorcery check, because I'm the only one who's... I don't know.
Very well. Dr. McFly, your sorcery flip is an 8 and a 10.
Hey.
With that, you successfully manage to light the flames.
Nice. I'll be working on the engineering.
All right, your engineering, which is a 9. Actually, I should probably... Sorry. Where's my stuff? There it is. All right, a 9 of rams. Boom. you also manage to basically you find some of the levers, you pull them, set them in the right position. You basically turn this really large spin wheel and build up the pressure as the heat slowly begins to rise.
That's good. That's good, boys. Keep it coming. Do more.
I'll jump in on the fuel shoveling. So he's grabbing I think he has in one hand the shovel, in the other hand just his hand, and he's just throwing things to the fireplace.
All right, that is an athletics, and with that flip of a 8 of diamonds,
+3, so 12.
Uh,
No, 11. That's how numbers work.
11 would be closer to the number.
You absolutely managed to shovel big wads of the coal into the furnace. McMarron?
Can I? I'm gonna try to identify. Is that a Nephilim that's out there? Can I try to identify that? And also see if it's coming closer.
Okay. It is not a Nephilim, or at least not that you can tell. B, it is apparently in a realm that is between Malifaux and the real world, so you are kind of in a subspace called the Void. You have heard about this in passing. It is a place like purgatory, basically, filled with predatorial creatures that are even more dangerous than the Nephilim themselves.
Okay, and it's not coming toward us right now.
Oh yeah, it's coming towards you. Well,
it is. Okay.
Not directly. It's not it's not heading to you with purpose. But it is wandering in your direction, as the footsteps do seem to be getting louder and in closer succession.
Hey, how's that shoveling going?
It is going great. Would you like to do anything?
Yeah, especially since it's coming in closer.
All right, what do you got? You've got your engineering, athletics, or sorcery.
Athletics.
Athletics. Boom. Oh man, you guys are pulling out all the good numbers. That is an 8 of ravens.
Will a 9 help then?
An 8 of ravens is fine. It does well. You do it. You shovel, shoveling super hard as the furnaces begin to light up, thanks to the furnace, the ethanol taking
Steam is
flame.
rising. We're getting pressure.
As the pressure begins to build, now is the moment of truth. And you will need to all succeed in a check. So, Dr. McFly?
All right, now, if this is like a pressure chamber, we use these to force blood into the body. These levers here, these should release. One of them should release the brake. The other one should release the water in the tank to cool the engine down so it doesn't explode. I just don't know which is which. Can't be that hard to work out. I mean, it's just it's levers, right? I'm gonna try and just do an engineering check. I'm gonna pull this one. It's got a brake handle thing on it.
You hear a grinding sound as he pulls on a lever, and he flips a 3 of mask.
Oh God, that's the water. I've only got a 3 to replace it with, so that's not gonna help.
No. But that's okay, because it'll come down to your next one, whether or not you live or die.
Drops the shovel and he says, "What are you doing?" And he kind of shoves it.
I don't know. These things are confusing.
Pull the darn lever back where it was.
Yeah, I jam that lever back and I pull the right lever.
All right.
And I'm also going to make an engineering check.
All right. As you force the lever forward, your great and mighty muscles snap the metal bar as it's now lodged in the wrong position.
Pull the lever, Hank, not break the lever.
Pull that out, Crunk.
I was stressed
Now
out.
look what you did.
McMarron?
I'm gonna go to the base of it, and I'm gonna try to grapple and pull, torque it into the right position.
Very well. Go for your grapple then.
All right.
Which will be a 10 of rams.
13 total.
So that is super well done. As you sort of set it into place. You hear the sounds of the wheels beginning to sort of build up momentum. They're sort of clattering. Quentin.
I'm going to continue with my engineering check since that's the only good thing that I have. So I'm gonna see if I can get this train to speed up faster, and get us through to the other side of this portal.
No.
As you pull the Black Joker, you attempt to increase the speed, and you figure the best way to increase the speed.
Wait, I have a question. Can I change fates?
Not on a Black Joker.
Why
As you
is it always me?
as you get to the point where you're like, okay, I need to make this go faster, you grab hold of as much coal as you can, throw it in, and you see down and you look at the doctor's bag and you realize that he'd been holding on to 2 bottles of the 100% proof stuff. While he's busy, sort of dealing with a broken lever, you grab hold of the bottles and you throw them into the fire, and there is a loud bang that explodes as one of the plumes atop the engine explodes and bursts outward with fire and coal as opposed to steam. Okay, so.
Oh Lord, what did you do?
Dr. McFly, Heinrich Schmidt, and Quentin Ortega, you need to each make 1 successful save. McMarron, you are able to assist any one of them as they go, and you can choose to assist after we find the result of the flip. So, Dr. McFly.
I'm gonna have to use sorcery is on intellect, right?
Sorcery is on intellect, yes.
I'm gonna have to do a sorcery check. We've got to rewrite the engine is unbalanced. Why did you throw that in the engine of all of the
reaching? All right, reaching.
Why were you holding out on us?
Too much ethanol and the oxygen in the chamber is completely vaporized, which means the fire goes out. It doesn't stay hot.
As you basically attempt to get the fire back under control, tapping into some form of magical energy, you draw in and manage to get the flume back under control. All right, Heinrich.
Okay, so what exploded on the train?
What exploded on the train? That was one of the steam pressure canisters.
Oh, okay, cool. In that case, I'm going to attempt to repair that canister so that it continues to build steam.
Very well. I will allow you to use your artifacting or artificing ability. That is a 9.
I think I gain so this says gain plus on artifacting because I have tools.
Oh, yep. So that means you flip twice and take the higher. So that is a
flip. Okay.
Yep. So that's a 9. That's a 9 and a 11. 11 all rounds.
Make that a 15.
All right. You successfully managed to hold it off as you sort of create, like, you sort of pull out a welding torch from your mechanical hand, and you
actually see his hand like the flaps open, and you see like, and the hand recedes, and a number of Swiss Army tools just sort of come out, and he pulls one out and begins torching.
Go gadget blowtorch.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're from America. Yeah.
That's exactly how it works.
This was made in the U.S.
Made in Taiwan.
SR.
All right, Quentin, it is all on you, buddy.
Well, I saw that I've royally messed up and made a really bad call. The doctor's trying to fix it, and I will help with fixing it.
All right, you flip.
So whatever the doctor was doing, yeah.
So you're attempting to help, and by attempting to help, you pull an ace of ravens.
I will push him. I'll push him out of the way.
Now
of
change
this.
fate?
I don't know. Yes, you can. You can change
sweet.
fate.
Yes, I'm changing fate using my. Oh, come on! I'm trying to get to my. There we go. Sorry, it wasn't letting me get onto the
Using the
page.
12?
My 12 crows.
All right, the 12 of crows replaces the flip, allowing for you. Basically, as you attempted to help, you realize that the buildup, while he's repairing the top of the boiler that exploded, the backlash would actually come bursting out. You quickly slam the door shut as the fire almost cleans up the whole lot of you, and the engines continue to roll forward. You pick up speed, and slowly but surely you watch as the light gets left behind. A huge squid-like tentacle slaps along the side of the window. You watch as the suction cup slowly pulls away, as a bang from Dr. McFly's gun shoos the creature off.
No, don't shatter the glass.
All right, as the train rattles up, it passes into an entirely new world, one with a dark, vivid green sky that seems to be constantly covered in a stormy cloud. As the train tracks lead you forth into a train station, you look on either side and are surrounded by the cracked earth and blackened soil of the Badlands surrounding Malifaux. And up ahead, the train station leading you to your new lives in this unforsaken land.
Yeah.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the prologue of Malifaux, called Bad Things Happen. I hope you've enjoyed it. I had a great time. I hope my players had a great time. Did you guys have fun?
This was
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was a lot of fun.
It's a very interesting game, and again, it was one of those ones that I came across and I looked at it and I was like, wow, there's so much stuff, and I love learning new things and finding things out. Playing a game where it's entirely based on the fate decks and the drawing of cards. Now this was very kind of sort of ad-libbed. A lot of us have very, very busy lives, both social and professional. So we missed out on a couple of tiny little things, but all in all, I think the game just has a lot of potential for some great role playing with some great people, and I'm so glad that you guys could join us. Thank you, Guy, Michael, Stephen, Phil. It was an absolute pleasure having you guys join us on this journey through the breach.
Yeah, this was a fun game. I like the mechanics are super neat. Like from a guy who plays like hundreds of hours of all kinds of like dice-based tabletop games. You said it's card-based, and I went, oh. And then now playing it, it's actually pretty cool. Like it makes a lot of sense once you start rolling into it. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
And it kind of has the Wild West feel.
Yeah.
And like
the setting's very cool.
Yeah. Oh, and the
Yeah.
setting is amazing. Like we can really delve a lot more into the setting once we, again, if we continue this as a thing, delving into it. There's just so many different aspects. Like even the puppets, for example. The puppets were actually created by a puppet that was animated by the magic of Malifaux called Collodi. He's actually one of my favorite characters in the setting. And he basically was a puppet given magic to entertain children, but was left for 100 years by himself in Malifaux when the breach was sealed. When it reopened, he re-emerged and was so happy to see people and entertain people, but everyone was so afraid of like the Neverborn and stuff that they chased him off with torches and pitchforks. So he was super angry about that and started binding the souls of children into puppets. And
Yeah, that's not okay.
As you do.
That
Oh, yeah.
escalated quickly.
oh yeah,
Super
he is
normal thing to do.
he is super crazy. But yeah, I love him to death. He's one of my favorite characters. So like playing puppets and stuff like that are just a ton of fun. How about yourself, Quentin? Stephen. How did you find?
It was really fun. It's very strange with the card-based system, but oddly enough, I feel like I have more control over whether I guess I succeed or fail because for one we got those change fate cards, but also just like
That was cool.
yeah, but like just also knowing like okay, well there's like 1 between 1 and 13. He's like okay, well that's a much better chance than say like 1 in 20. So I mean, little less margin for error, but also just I don't know. Feels like I got a little bit more control over succeeding and failing.
Absolutely, and I think we only really scratched the surface of what you could really do with things like the Fate deck and things like that. Phil, yourself, how did we go?
Oh
my
yeah,
friend?
I think it was great. I really like the balance of it. I think having fate cards as well as the system of giving bonuses really make things really on par, like for in terms of balance wise. I think it's a really great system, and I've never seen anything or played anything like it before, and I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention that I really like the Western Cthulhu kind of vibe as well. A very unique combination of themes that I enjoy very much.
Oh yeah, no. There's definitely nothing you can go wrong with this kind of style inspiration. Like so much of it is just so powerfully driven by so much pop culture that it's hard not to be inspired in character wise. Like everyone that played today, like Heinrich was such an interesting character. Like even though he was very abrasive and antisocial, he was still so unique. And it wasn't until he literally it almost was like a steam engine, like it started slow, but then as it boiled up, he became more and more active as it went along. You obviously saw the good doctor who went through the various stages of the fear that one experiences in these kind of Lovecrafty type games, and then of course you have the Ortega twins who were cousins who were
Distant.
who were distant cousins who were taking on the full on Wild West gunslinger type thing, ranging from obviously the one who embraces it in McMahon, and of course the one who's kind of like the self-hating Ortega in Quinton. So I thought that
I
was
have this whole cool backstory of why I don't like the Ortegas.
but that's always a super interesting thing. And of course, last but certainly not least, Master Guy. How did we fare?
Yeah, I loved your layout, Michael. Bringing up the cards, I thought was inspired because the cards are so integral to the system. I like the system. There are a couple of things that I'm not. I understand thematically the crows and tomes and ravens and things. I think that it's just going to get used. It's going to take a bit of time to get used to them. And we were rough on the rules, but I think the only thing that I have an issue with is that the long arm seemed to be doing less damage than a standard firearm, which I thought was a bit strange. But that's again, it's just not familiarity with the system and the like. So I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, the setting is definitely exciting. Something that I don't think we've come across often enough, necessarily speaking. I obviously have to apologize to every American and everyone in Europe, pretty much, because I insulted, I think, everybody.
You stayed away from Australia this time, so that was good.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just, But yes, I thought it was a lot of fun. I'd like to play more of it to get to understand it a bit more, just to see how it works. Damage seems to be quite wild in terms of, I look at how many wounds my character has. He's not very healthy to begin with. But he only take 5 damage. I mean, and we were dealing out 5, 6, 7. I mean, the Polish strong arm was just slaughtering everybody.
Well, actually, if memory serves, you hit twice, I think.
Yeah, twice, and I did 2 damage.
Yeah, and you did 2 damage each. Heinrich's fist, I think, dealt 3 damage at a base, but then he landed the critical hit. When you land a critical hit, that's like game over for someone.
Right.
And that's kind of like the idea of the system. Like a lot of things have very low amount of wounds. Like you could take maybe a bullet, maybe a second if you're super lucky, but for the most part, I found that damage was more about like you taking cover and you trying to avoid trying to get the all those extra flips to try and avoid taking damage, as opposed to finding yourself in a scenario where you can do large, copious amounts of damage that we see in some other RPGs. So even little things like your one-shot bullet doing 2 damage as opposed to the pistol's moderate damage, which did 3. You kind of think about it in the way of that it's a close quarter scenario. You're in a train. It's kind of like very niche for the pistol to be able to function super well, whereas firing a rifle in kind of those kind of close quarters proximities. I think you'd really thrive when you got to the range game, where you'd get 2 or 3 shots off before they got close to you guys, as opposed to the pistol, who would,
Yes, of course.
Yeah, because I think the movement speed is 4 yards per character per action, which is an 8-yard range, whereas I think the rifle has 14 yards. 16 yards? 16 yards. So you'd get a fair few turns. I mean, especially if you were also on the move at the same time, you would get a couple, like it's just kind of like a by-the-by kind of. Yeah.
No, I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for joining us, and thank you for watching. Again, if you like this show and if you want to see more like it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and of course, a very big special thank you to the team over at Weird, who are the brilliant minds who actually created Through the Breach. We love it as a game, and we'd really like to do more stuff about it. If you are curious about the system, then head on over to their website and go check it out, because there's just a whole bunch of really cool books. We at the moment just used kind of the core rulebook, but there's a book for Resurrectionists, there's a book for playing Gremlins, and recently there is a new book for playing guild members called Above the Law, which the name of the title matching with that, read it. It'll be fun. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. Until next time, guys, as always, from the Dead Aussie Gamer, remember, game hard or die trying. Have a good one.